Anissa Garza did not set out to save lives.
I just don't want anyone to ever have to go through what I've went through.
She was too busy being a single mom, doing her best to make ends meet. Before she headed off to work, Anissa took her toddler son to daycare in New Paris, Indiana.
I dropped him off and kissed him and told him I loved him. Every morning, it's what I did. And he said, "Love you too, Mom."
The daily routine felt so comforting. 19-month-old Kirk would spend his day with Jackie Rolston, a family friend who ran an at-home daycare. She had been watching the little boy for 11 months.
She took him. He was perfectly fine. And about 11:30, my phone was going off. I answered it. It was Rick, Jackie's husband, telling me that Kirk was on his way to the hospital.
The toddler was rushed from his babysitter's house to the hospital. But once inside, in the end, the news was not good. Anissa raced to the emergency room to see her son.
The coroner and all of them come in and told us my son was gone.
Her little boy was gone? Anissa was stunned. She couldn't even comprehend what that meant.
I wasn't allowed to pick him up. I got yelled at for touching his hair. I asked if I could have 5 minutes alone with my son so I could say bye. The nurse said, "I'm not supposed to, but I'll let you." So I went in. I didn't even get 2 minutes.
And then, just days later, when Kirk's family couldn't imagine anything more heartbreaking, they got devastating news. His death was ruled a homicide, caused by extreme blunt force trauma to the head. Who was with Kirk before he died? His child care provider. Anissa couldn't believe it at first.
I just, could never picture her harming a child or harming anyone.
But shockingly, Jackie Rolston had harmed a child before, a 2-year-old about the same age as little Kirk. She was charged with felony battery and child neglect in 2006 after the toddler in her care showed signs of abuse. Even more astounding, her charges were eventually reduced to misdemeanor child neglect, and she received only 1 year of probation. Tragically, Anissa never knew this when she placed Kirk in her care.
I don't think anyone will ever understand how I feel.
Now Jackie is facing 1 count of battery on a child resulting in death and has entered a plea of not guilty to the charges while awaiting trial. She was able to post a $100,000 bond and is still living at the home where she once cared for children. We reached out to her attorney and received no response, so we tried to pay her a visit. We wanted an explanation of what happened to Kirk that tragic day. We want answers. We want to talk to Jackie. But guess what? I think she's on to us because she has not come out of the house at all. We tried to reach out when someone stepped outside.
Hello?
But we never got a chance to ask her any questions. Exactly what happened to Kirk while he was in Jackie's care? We may never know. She says Kirk was choking while eating. Well, an autopsy says that is a lie. The fact is, Jackie Rolston has a lot of explaining to do, and we wanted answers face to face. But the no trespassing signs on her property make it impossible for Crime Watch Daily to go on her property. Kirk's family has not gotten any answers either from Jackie or anyone else.
We still, at this point, don't know all details. Won't know until we go to court.
For Kirk's grandmother, her sorrow runs so deep for the devastating loss of her grandson and for her little girl.
My daughter is lost. My daughter is in pain, and I can't fix it.
Who do you blame for that?
The daycare provider, Jackie Rolston.
She was the last person.
She was the last person to see him alive.
Do you think she belongs in prison?
Yes. Where she can't hurt anybody else.
But as they await a trial and a jury decision in a courtroom, Kirk's death has inspired his family to fight for a much larger justice, not just for Kirk, but for all other children in daycare too. They've pushed for state legislation to reveal child abuse and sex offense convictions on a child protection registry so that anyone sending their kids to a home-based daycare can do their own research online.
There's home-based daycares all over the state of Indiana, and rightfully so. I don't have a problem with that. But there is absolutely no way of monitoring what's going on there.
Kirk's law would help fix that. But still, the law met some resistance over privacy concerns.
My response to that is don't harm a kid, and I guess you don't have to worry about it.
Kirk's grandmother, still overcome by grief, and yet became a forceful champion for change to enact the law statewide.
We have to keep pushing forward. Kirk would want this.
Angie was leading the charge that convinced a state senator to sponsor the bill and got the governor of Indiana to sign it.
And I signed Kirk's law for little Kirk and for all the precious little ones that his laws will protect.
The law, signed this month, goes into effect this summer, just after Jackie Rolston is scheduled to face trial.
If this would have been known, maybe Kirk's life would have been saved. It's Kirk's legacy. It's to honor my grandson.
Kirk's grandfather also hopes this law will somehow help ease the pain his loved ones are suffering.
It's just a heartache that just doesn't go away. I wouldn't want grandfather, grandmother, parent, anybody to go through this again.
Kirk's mother gets a little comfort only when visiting his grave.
I go by myself. That's my quality time. His grave's never empty. It always has something on it.
If we can save just one child, just not have to go through what our family's gone through the last year and a half, it's well worth it.